fellow book lovers, welcome back to the Bibliovert channel. My name is Jacqueline, and for today's video, we are going to be flipping through my 2023 reading bullet journal. This is an Archer and Olive A5 dot grid notebook in the design of quill and ink. This cover is also like a faux leather kind of feel compared to the canvas one that I have had in the past. So let's go ahead and get started. For this year's bullet journal, I really wanted it to feel whimsical and cottagecore, botany, and lots of nature. I have so many of these little mushrooms everywhere. So that is definitely the feel and the vibe that I went for this year's bullet journal, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I got pretty much all of these prints and stickers from Etsy and from Amazon, so I'll be sure to link all of the companies down below in the description box. I have really enjoyed them so far. So this is my just cover title page. I didn't really want to put a like this journal belongs to or anything. I did put my name up here in the corner. I bought this organizer express off of Amazon, and it is my new favorite thing. You just select whatever letters you want to write, and then you can cut it out and make little stickers like this, and I am obsessed. You are going to see this a lot in the bullet journal, but I really liked it. I thought this page ended up being really cute. So this next page is my index, and I put in a little Dutch door here so I could have more room. This year I decided that I was going to have a spot for every single book I read in the review that I have, and I could include the page number, so I just needed more than one page to be able to do that. And so far I think it's really cute. I'm very curious to see if I'm going to be able to fill up all of this space or not, but I'm quite pleased with it. Moving on, we have my bookshelf for this year. I also put in a Dutch door here as well. As I read, I will go in and I will fill in one of the books on the shelf and then write in the title. And here I have my color coordination for my personal reads, the books that I do for the podcast, books that we have for our Patreon book buddy read, and then the genre that I read the most of last year was actually fanfic. So I decided to add that in just to see how many books I end up reading that are fanfic here. I'm really excited because I think it's going to end up being kind of like a dark and moody shelf, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's cute. This next page, I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. I did 2 pages for it. So last year and the year prior, I had my books read in 2023 spread, and I would print out the covers and put them in and then have my star rating underneath it. And though the spread looked really good, my problem with it was that I hated cutting out all of the little book covers. It drove me crazy. So I decided that I was going to do more of lists this year. So I was going to have what number book it was, the title and author, and then what my star rating was. So just very quickly at a glance, I could go back through, see how many books I had read, and then also what I thought of them. But I don't know if it's the color or if I'm just not accustomed to it, or if it's because I didn't use a ruler and I just kind of went in and freehand drew the lines, but there's something about the spread that I don't love. I'm wondering that if I had done it in green, if I would like it more, because there is so much green in this bullet journal, but for some reason I'm not loving this. So we'll see how I end up feeling about it later on in the year, but that's my current thought. This next one is an adapted form of my one from last year as well. It is my 2023 reading goal. I had done this centerpiece and then added in my boxes around it last year, and I really liked it. I actually used a stamp this year and then just colored it in with different markers. And I think it looks really pretty cute. And then of course I used my label maker, which again, new best friend. I did not really plan out the boxes. So my reading goal for this year is 150. And I accidentally did 191 boxes. So this is where 150 is. So maybe I'll read more. I don't know. But I do think that this spread ended up being pretty cute and I really like it. So for that, I am happy. Then we have my favorite book of the year bracket. Again, this is a repeat from last year. I really like it. It was simple, easy, and it's just so nice to kind of see which books I liked each month. And I'm just loving these little like mushrooms, woodland kind of feel. I'm very here for it. Then we have my 5-star favorites. Again, this is a spread that I had last year. So this will be one that I do actually print out the cover and put it in, but thankfully it's not going to be too many. So throughout the year, I will keep track of which books have been 5 stars, and then like halfway through the year, I'll print them out, put them in, and then do that again at the end of the year. And so I just think it's kind of fun to have at least a visual aspect of the covers of the books. Then we have, this was my favorite spread last year, and I have really, really loved keeping up with it, and I just think it's so much fun. I did add one aspect of it, but it's my year in review, and it's like all of my stats. So I have my months over here, and then I have books, number of pages, YA, new adult, rom-coms, historical fiction, fanfic, 5-star, 4, 3, 2, 1, DNF, which this is the new one, and a reread. So each month I'll go back in and I'll add how many books I read, how many pages, what genre they were, and then what star rating, if I DNF'd it or if it was a reread, and I'll tally all of that up, and then at the end of the year I can get a good idea for the breakdown throughout the months that I had. So I loved this last year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to get to keep up again with this year, and I'm pleased with how it turned out. Next up, we have my most anticipated reads of 2023. This was one of the last spreads that I did last night before going to bed, and I might change this part up a little bit. I'm not quite sure if I like how cohesive or not cohesive it is, so I might switch that up a little bit. But this was a spread that I, again, really enjoyed last year. This one is not new, but I left about half of it blank because there are so many books that come out at the end of the year that have not been announced yet, so I'm waiting for a lot of those. But these are definitely some of the books that I am the most interested in reading next year, and I'm really looking forward to their release date. So I think that this is a fun way to keep up with releases that are coming out throughout the year. Speaking of keeping up with releases that come out throughout the year, I have my new releases that are broken down by months, and then I have the day that they're coming out. I have only put these in pencil. I need to go back in and add them in pen. But this has been such a handy way to keep track of what books are coming out each month. And I think that this spread is really, really cute. I was inspired by someone with this spread and completely forgot to write it down. So I'm going to go back and find who did it and make sure that I include it in the description box down below, because they deserve all the credit. They did such a wonderful job designing this, and it's just adorable. Okay, so this spread is part new, part not new. On the left, we have 23 books for 2023. I was inspired by Rad Reads on TikTok for this one. So I have a list of 23 books that I would like to read in the year of 2023. So I've only put 4 down, and I think what I'm going to do is like X off, or maybe create like a little box or tally or something over here to fill in once I read that book. But these are some of the ones that I'm the most looking forward to. And so think that this is going to be a fun new one. Also, I really like the way that this sticker looks on top of like this other sticker in the background. And I don't know why I got so excited about that last night, but I just had to point it out. Then on this side, this is not new. I did this last year. However, I didn't love it last year. And I think the reason why was because when I first made my bullet journal, I put in series that I wasn't necessarily excited about reading. And so then every time I looked at it, I just like felt like I wasn't doing enough and I wasn't reading enough. So I left it blank so that as I read books that are in series, I can then add it and tally. And maybe that way I will be more likely to use it. I don't know. We shall see. But I think that these are going to be really cute, and I'm excited about them and very curious to see if I like the 23 books for 2023. We'll see. Moving on, this was also inspired by all the Rad Reads on TikTok. So we have my halfway top 10 and then my yearly top 10. Halfway through the year, I will list the 10 books that have been my favorites, and then by the next December, I'll add in my other 10 favorites, and then I can get my top 20 of the year. I think this is really cute. Very, very curious to see how it's going to go. This will also be the book covers that I tape in here. I think it ended up really cute. So I kind of liked doing this one. For this one was actually inspired by Psychonaut journaling here on YouTube. Last year, I had a bookshelf for all of my physical reads that I already owned, and I did not touch it. So I decided that I was going to try and do something a little bit different, and then I saw Psychonaut do this, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I love the way that they filled it out. So instead, I'm going to go through and add in books that I have on my physical shelf, and I'm going to then color in these boxes as I read them. I do have more books on my physical TBR than I have boxes for, so I'm only going to put the books that I think I'm going to be the most likely to read, and then maybe I'll end up using the spread more. But I'm very curious to see by the end of the year how many books I end up reading that I had previously had on my shelf. This next one is my Patreon book buddy read spread. I was inspired by Journal with Chloe on this spread because she does book buddy reads with her Patreon as well. So I'm going to have the month, the book, my rating, and then the author here. And I've always really enjoyed the way that this spread ends up looking, so I think that that's fun. And then my last one, this one is completely new. I read a lot of fanfics last year, and most of the time the way that I have my fanfics that I want to read, they're just tabs on my phone. So I have like 60 open tabs on my phone, and they're all fanfics. So I've decided let's have a place to keep them all written. And then as I read different fanfics, I'm gonna have the name here and then my star rating. I'm very keen and very interested to see which ones I end up reading, what my star rating is for them. I got this stamp off of Etsy, and then you can just like fill in the different stars. I also have star stickers as well that I think I'm going to use on my review pages that I'm really, really excited about. I think they're super cute. I got them off of Etsy as well. Again, everything's going to be listed down below in the description box. I then have room for my monthly spread, so I'm going to have my January's, and then I've decided that instead of having my monthly spread immediately followed by the reviews of the books that I read that month, I'm actually going to keep them all succinct behind each other, just because I did get out of order a couple of times. I'm going to keep it like this, and then after these monthly pages, I'm going to then have my book reviews that will then take up the rest of the journal. I'm going to try and do 2 reviews per page, and then I think I'm going to be able to fit everything in this journal, because in the past I've had to have multiple reading journals per year, and I really just want to have one. I also think what I'm going to do is maybe save a few pages in between my month spread and then my book reviews to have as readathon pages, but I'm not sure if I'm going to put them before the months or after yet, so still trying to figure that out. But this is everything that I have so far. I really like it. I think the theme is so cute and fun and whimsical. I just really wanted a botanical and natural kind of feel, and I just think it's so fun. It still kind of feels kind of like a light, dark academia vibe, but just more cottagecore maybe. So I'm really, really liking it. I'm really, really happy, and I cannot wait to start using this journal in the new year. I hope that you get some fun ideas for spreads for your own reading journal, and let me know what books you're most looking forward to in 2023. Feel free to check us out on Instagram at the Bibliovertpodcast. We also have podcast episodes that are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, and we have a Patreon that is a lot of fun. We do book buddy reads, we hang out, we have Zoom chats, we have a wonderful Discord, and it's just a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you come join us. But that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic day, happy reading, and I will see you next time.